What's up everyone? So in today's video we wanted to go over why we decided to stay in the Philippines and why we're still not trying to leave here, because loads of people have been asking this every day now. Obviously there's new people following us, so they're all curious on why we're even here in the Philippines and why we didn't go home. And I've never really done a video explaining the whole thing. Obviously, for the people that follow our channel, you will kind of know the story broken up throughout multiple videos, but there's not really one video that just explains everything. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to do right now in today's video, explain it all. So we arrived in the Philippines in February. You know the date?
The 26th.
Yeah, the 26th of February, and back then everything was completely normal. I mean, obviously a few places were more empty, well, everywhere was more empty because there was no Chinese tourists already, because the crisis was going on there, and there were a few less Europeans, right?
Yes.
Some had cancelled their trips and stuff because they were scared, but everything seemed pretty normal. And then there was one, sorry about the dog by the way. But then I think there was one day we were on an island, North
Gigantes Island, and then we went to a boat tour, and then when we came back, the family that we were staying with, they said, oh, the Philippines islands are going to be on lockdown. So at that time we were like, oh my god, what's going to happen? We were very afraid because we didn't know about we didn't know if that was a rumor or if it was true, and yeah, it's just crazy.
No, and at that time there was basically no cases reported. I think on the day that there was a talk of the lockdown, there was about 50 cases. I think only 1 or 2 deaths. So we were never expecting it to just shut down so fast, because no other country had done that, right?
Yeah, now we think it was a good choice of the president and the government, because now we see that the Philippines are not having like a huge number of cases, and it's probably because it was locked down since the beginning.
Yeah, straight away, like, because obviously you've seen a lot of the developed countries that even though they had cases, they kept just dragging it on, keeping it open. And now they're dealing with thousands of deaths every day, right? We knew there was a possibility of things locking down, but we just didn't expect it to be so quick. And yeah, like I said, like 2 days before, there weren't even cases announced in the Philippines, and then all of a sudden 2 days later, pretty much everything, well, it wasn't locked down, but it was announced. And I'm not sure, what was the lockdown date? The 17th?
15th, I think.
Might have been the 15th.
It was in Manila, mainly in Manila.
Yeah, the 15th of March. So there's going to lock down Manila, and then we had a flight to go to Portugal. First to Dubai, but then our last final destination was Portugal, and that was on the 26th of March. So we kind of already knew that would be cancelled. We kind of guessed that it would, and in the end they all got cancelled. So our flight to Dubai got cancelled.
From Manila to Dubai.
Yeah, from Manila to Dubai got cancelled, and even the ones from Dubai to like London and London to Portugal, they all got cancelled. So we could never get on those flights anyway, and we had kind of already guessed like there's no point us going to Manila because we don't even know how the situation is going to be there during lockdown. We didn't even know at the time if we could go to Manila when it was announced. So I think at that time we just thought, where is the best place to go in the Philippines if we were to get stuck? And we chose El Nido mainly just because we knew a lot of tourists were here, and we didn't want to be in an area where we're the only tourists, and that's pretty much in North Gigante Island. It looked like we were the only foreign tourists on the island. So
and there was no internet like on the place we were staying, and there was no internet on my phone. I use a smart SIM card and no internet, so we knew that El Nido would be a better place in terms of infrastructure. So that's the main reason I think we decided to buy like a flight like for the next day to come to here to El Nido. And I think it was the last flight that arrived in El Nido because there was a lockdown.
Yeah, we got on the last flight ever to El Nido, and even when we got to the airport, the people had to call El Nido Airport and ask if tourists are even allowed to go. They weren't even sure if the flight was allowed to enter. But then I think on El Nido side, they actually said, oh no, it's tomorrow when the official lockdown is in El Nido, because each place kind of started a bit later than Manila. But El Nido was just a few days after Manila. I know other places, I think like Cebu, are almost 3 weeks after Manila, I think. So that is the reason we initially got stuck in El Nido. But I say stuck, we've never actually really been stuck. Every week there's been sweeper flights. I think there was a boat today that went to Manila. Tourists got on that. There's multiple flights arranged by different embassies that are taking people to Manila, and apparently even if somebody else's embassy has a flight that's not full, we can get on that flight, because they want money, right? So
yeah, the problem is many people think those flights, since they're being organized by a government or like a embassy, people think they're free, but they're not free. And for us, they were very, very expensive, like from what we've heard about other people taking those flights. So I don't know what.
Well, we've heard people going back to Europe paying about £5,000, £6,000, which I guess is around like $7,000, but that's to Europe. And this is where we have to continue on to the next part before I go on about the prices. About our options. So those of you that watch, you probably know I was born in England and Carol is from Brazil, but I left England like 12 years ago, and pretty much my close relatives don't live there anymore. My grandparents both passed away during that time, and my parents live in Portugal. So England's not really an option. I mean, if some desperate situation happened, of course I have friends and cousins that we would stay with, but during this period, if we were to leave, we'd want to stay with our parents, right? So England already wasn't an option anyway, and I'm actually here on my Brazilian passport. The English embassy don't even know I'm here. So yeah, England was never an option. Portugal, where my parents live, that is where we would have actually wanted to go. We might even be there now if we could.
Yeah.
But they closed the borders, but that's not really the reason why. At that time when we could have gone to Portugal, that was when Italy blew up, Spain blew up, France blew up. So everything indicated that Portugal was just going to be a nightmare. And even my parents said, like, just stay put, we think you're better just staying there, don't come here. Luckily now we know, well, Portugal seems to have dodged it a bit. There's deaths there, but it's not the same rate as Spain, Italy. So it still looks like now it would have been an okay place to go, but then they also shut the borders for non-citizens. So we could have got there if we had really tried, probably early on. Because we didn't know at the time, when they shut down Manila, we just thought you couldn't go into Manila, but apparently foreigners still could to get out of the country, right?
Yeah, if you had a flight, I think you had to show like a proof that you had a flight. But we also heard about the stories of foreigners having to sleep at the airport in Manila because they were going there from the other islands, and then when they got there, the flight was cancelled, so they had to stay there for a few nights. And at that time there were no hotels accepting any foreigner, so that was kind of like a big issue. And when we knew about that, we were very afraid. We didn't want to go through that situation. So
yeah, and you also didn't want to be surrounded by thousands of strangers on airport floors. And that goes back to what I was saying before. In the end, our only option was Brazil, because I'm half Brazilian, so I have all my mother's side's family in Brazil, and I've lived there for 6 years, and Carol is from Brazil, so we have her parents. So right now, if we was actually to leave, our only closest thing to home is Brazil. A lot of people think that America is home because the last place we officially lived was America. I lived there 4 years and she lived there for a year, but we're not American. We don't have visas, so we have nothing to do with America at all. We can't go back to there. So Brazil is the only option. But Brazil is in a way worse situation than the Philippines. It's an absolute mess there. If you're looking on the news, you'll probably see what's going on with the president I think the health minister got fired the other day because he wants to be in like a lockdown and everyone's social distancing. And then you got the president, he's going into the protests with everyone to open up the states and cities. And they're still out of control. They're not like testing or anything. There's just so many unreported cases. The cases are high right now. Yeah, and then it's just a weird situation where the president's telling everyone to open, and basically all the governors, even left and right wing governors, are all ignoring him and keeping their states locked down. So there's all this internal fighting going on, and there's just more cases. So for us it's like, why would we leave El Nido now? That's still never had a reported case. I know the testing might not be the best here, but from my understanding, anyone that's severely sick is getting tested, and so far it seems like it's come back negative, and we're a month in now. So yeah, we still don't know if that's completely true, but you'd hear rumors if people were dying here and stuff, I think, because it's a small place. And it just made no sense for us, because also to get to Rio, we'd probably have to go through about 5 airports. You'd have to go El Nido Airport to Manila. Then Manila, there's no direct flight to Rio. From Manila, you'd probably have to go through one of the countries, those Arab countries like Dubai or Doha. Then from there, you'd have to go to Sao Paulo and then Rio. So you'd have to go through 5 airports, which is a big risk in itself, right? And so much can go wrong. I doubt all those like 5 different flights are all going to work perfectly. At some point we're pretty sure we'd get stuck. Yeah. So there's the risk of getting stuck. There's the risk of even contracting the disease because you're just around people in different areas. And then there's just the fact that you go into a country that you already know is in a way worse situation than where you are now. So we just don't really have any better option. That's why we're here. And
we also thought that if, let's say, we go to Brazil, we will have to do the quarantine over there, and we wouldn't be able to stay close to our family. So we would have to rent an apartment to stay like just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
So at the same time, we wouldn't be able to be with our families right away. And
Rio is a super populated city. It's probably hard to even walk in the street, even to a supermarket, without it being busy there. So we didn't really want to be in this big busy place right now, and that's where we are right now. So we're in El Nido. We decided to stay in like a village. It's called Calan. Very quiet. When we walk to do grocery shopping, even if I go to the market and do like shopping there, there's pretty much nobody around. You're able to social distance really well here, and everything just seems calm. So it just doesn't make much sense for us to leave or even try and leave. Like I said, there's still sweeper flights out of here, but I mean, why would we go to Brazil right now? Like I said before, since Portugal has more cases than the Philippines, it looks, but they're doing okay. Probably if we could go there now, we would go just to be with my parents. We would prefer that. And yeah, Portugal seems to have closed pretty early as well. That's why they're doing okay, and people are obedient. So we would go to Portugal if we could, but we can't. We like it here, actually.
Yeah, people are still being friendly, and
people are calm.
Yeah, they're calm. There's plenty of food. We never have issues trying to buy food. It's always pretty much everything's there.
Yeah, everything's fully stocked, and it's also absolutely beautiful. And believe it or not, well, you probably believe it, like that helps a lot when I go outside just to get groceries. I know we can't spend time on the beaches, but just going past it and looking, it's like, oh, it's like a reset button kind of thing. So we're just in a nice quiet spot. All the people are great. Filipinos in general are always pretty positive people, and I think that's helping a lot, right?
Yes. And we are in a very good area, like you said. It's calm, and there's other families, and so I don't know. It just feels good to be here. We know that we are going through a very bad situation, and of course we didn't want to be in this situation, but sometimes we got comments of people saying, "Oh, I'm sorry for your situation," but I think we are okay here because we are safe and we are healthy and we are trying to keep our minds busy.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, we're honestly happy. Like we get messages. I know people saying, "Oh, sorry that you're stuck there and stuff," but like I said, we're not really stuck. We can get out of here if we really wanted to. Even if I wanted to, we could go to England if we really wanted to. But we don't. So we're not stuck, and we are staying here because we are happy. If we weren't happy, we would leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just fine. I mean, Philippines, it just happened to be that Philippines is the #1 country for us that we like traveling to. We've always said that on this channel. So that obviously helps that we're in a place that we kind of love traveling to. And now we're pretty much, if you've been watching the video, we like living here really the last month. We rented a house here and just doing the normal day-to-day stuff. Some of you are probably thinking, how long can you stay here? Because it just keeps getting extended and extended, right? And now I'm hearing talk about May 15th, and then some other people are saying it's going to be an extra month. So we've talked about that quite a bit, and we probably still do think we have a limit. Like if it's June, July and everything's just still completely locked down, then we'd probably just say, okay, we should just go and visit our family now.
Thousands of dollars to go, but yeah, we would go because of our families.
Yeah, I think at that point, if it just really dragged on, I mean, you've got to go eventually, right? If everywhere just stays locked down, but I don't know if they can stay locked down. Got to open up at some point, right? So we're just hoping that it opens up in a month or two. We've kind of already accepted, like, we're definitely going to be here for an extra 2-3 months now.
Yeah.
But after 3 months, I'd say, then we're going to have to review and see what we do. But it will also depend how the countries are. If Brazil's an absolute nightmare still, and England is, or Portugal, the options that we have, then, and here's okay, then we're going to have to stay still. It's been so hard to plan what to do during this period because nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
You'd have to be able to predict the future, which no one can do. So it's just been a guessing game.
Yeah. We say we are happy, but at the same time we gotta tell you guys that we are anxious.
We still get worried.
Yeah, because of the thinking what should we do, or planning and trying to plan. We can never predict the future, but at the same time there's still some thoughts in our minds. But we are here. We are trying to follow the rules, and we have talked to the Brazilian embassy. They know we are here, so we're trying to do the best way possible.
Mm-hmm. Even the guy from the Brazilian embassy, when we told him we were going to stay, he was like, "Yeah, I think you're choosing the best option."
Yeah, because
so that's our own embassy saying, "Yeah, you should probably just stay here and not go back to your country."
Yeah.
So that's why I'm telling you, that guy knows Brazil's not good right now.
And I think the worst thing, because he was telling me about the cases of other Brazilians sleeping in Manila airport, so at that time he was like, oh, it's just a mess to try to go back to Brazil, so maybe you're doing the right decision. But at the same time he was like, it's your decision, you make it. But
yeah, he didn't want to try to enforce the decision on us. The biggest thing we're scared about is if there was an outbreak here in El Nido or Palawan, they just don't have the health infrastructure. And that's not us bashing the Philippines or Palawan. The actual Palawan and El Nido government sent us a letter telling us that. They said all foreigners have to recognize that here is not a developed area. They don't have a developed healthcare system. So that's my only worry. If there was an outbreak, they wouldn't be able to handle it. I doubt they have all the beds with the masks or whatever is required, right? The ventilators. So then you got a big problem.
That's why we're trying to keep track of the cases, and we're following the Facebook pages of the tourism office and the government and everything, the news, everything. We know that sometimes it's hard to know what is true or not, but we are trying to be aware of the cases and the information provided by the government.
And there's still a lot of tourists here. There's lots of European tourists that, yeah, they're from Spain and Italy, and they're kind of the same way. They're like, we can't go back. Why are we going to go back to somewhere that's just a mess right now? And if it ever does happen here that there's an outbreak, I think then probably the embassies of all the tourists that are currently stranded here would probably have some emergency flights out, and then we'd probably just try and get out ASAP. But at the moment, it doesn't look like there will be an outbreak. We've been in lockdown a month now. And everyone that's been really sick, I think they have been testing and it's just come back negative so far.
And it's also important to remember that we work online with YouTube, so we can work from here. And the cost of living here in the Philippines is not expensive, it's affordable for us. So we are okay with money right now.
So that's it. That's why we ended up being kind of stuck here, and we continue to plan on staying here. Just depends on each person really. We've spoke to people that have left and spent like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to get home, and they're just happy to be home even if they're in a country that's worse like affected. And then we also speak to people that left and now they wish they had just stayed here because they think it's a nightmare where they've gone to. But we're just here because right now we don't feel like we're in a nightmare, and we feel okay. We enjoy some days and try and keep ourselves busy and stuff, so we're okay right now. If that ever changes, then yeah, we can look at trying to leave. Hopefully there will always be options to leave, right? There's also, I guess, that risk, but yeah, that's why we're here now. So anything else to say?
Of course we miss our family, but we've been talking to them, I think even more than before the quarantine thing started. Like since we've been traveling since last year, like more than a year, we are kind of used not to be with our families like every day, but now we've been talking to them even more, like almost every day we call them.
Yeah,
and
video
call. So I think that's helping us too, to be close to them in that way online.
Yeah, technology has its benefits as well.
Yeah.
We've still been making videos there if anyone's interested in seeing what we're up to here anyway. And yeah, we just have to see what happens and try and stay positive. And I hope everyone's going through an okay situation. I hope nobody knows anyone that's been seriously affected by this. And yeah, I just hope things go back to normal soon. Looks like it's still going to be quite a few months, and we don't know what the new normal is going to be, but hopefully things will improve and we won't be so stuck in this current quarantine. But we'll have to see what happens. So yeah, have a good one, guys.
Yeah, stay safe. Thanks for watching.